Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 is actually good. A lot of the anime that are considered decent shows generally excel in one or two areas at most, either animation, music or story. You rarely get the ones that can do all three, and we all know the shows that can. JJK just joined that rare few that do excellent in all three categories. After that last video, I needed to watch something that I would actually enjoy, and I've been hearing great things about Season 2 of JJK for weeks. Back when I first watched Season 1, I'll be honest, I enjoyed it like most people, but I didn't love it. The animation was great and the premise was kinda cool, I guess, and a little familiar, but after watching it I couldn't help but feel that while it was somewhat enjoyable, the story just wasn't special and felt mad generic. Well, all that changed with Season 2. We actually got multi-dimensional characters, intriguing villains, and added depth to pretty much the whole cast. But I don't even care about the main characters anymore. Yuji and them can fuck off. The OGs are where it's at. Gojo, Geto, Toji, Nanami, they're some of the best characters in the show. Gojo is an arrogant arsehole with a main character complex cause I mean, let's be honest, he's low-key the main character. He's got compassion under all the arrogance and is just a little immature, but with some redeemable qualities. It makes sense for him to be this way though, since he's the chosen one of his clan due to being born with the 6 eyes and limitless abilities, the first to do so in 400 years. It's interesting to see how different he was as a young buck. This isn't gonna help them Kakashi comparisons though, if I'm being real. A cool teacher who covers a part of his face turns out to be an arrogant arsehole when he was younger until he lost a friend. The comparisons literally write themselves. But hey, Kakashi's a great character, so there are worse comparisons to have out there. It's cool to see Gojo not so calm and collected and honestly all powerful. Even though he wins in the end, we see him panicked and worried against Toji. We see him doubting himself with Geto in the plaza, knowing that he should kill him but not being able to bring himself to do it. They really humanize this character in this arc. Geto is actually a pretty reasonable and level-headed guy too, and his descent into villainy is completely understandable. The monotony of eating curses and dealing with the ungrateful ass humans chips away at his psyche. You see his point of view, and while we might not agree with him, you're telling me you didn't want Gojo to kill those motherfuckers when they were clapping at Riko's death? Exactly, that's great, right? Honestly, at this point I care way more about the entire cast. Geto is a great and very interesting villain now. Megumi is intriguing since he's Toji's son, and I'm curious to see his potential. Gojo isn't just a cool but one-dimensional character anymore and actually has layers. Honestly, Yuji and Sukuna might be the least interesting characters out of the ones I've named, and they're also mad interesting, so it's just a W. They killed it this season. Speaking of killing, this season introduced the cleanest assassin in the game, Toji. First off, he's fucking Megumi's dad, so off rip I care more about Megumi and Gojo's relationship, and season 1 as a whole becomes retroactively better. But back to Toji. This motherfucker was playing the weak card the whole arc. Talk about how he couldn't hang with Gojo and how he was gonna send in those bums to wear him down. So this whole time I'm thinking he can't be that strong. Then out of nowhere, the millisecond Gojo relaxes, he impales him and ends up giving him that kebab treatment. And if you think that's crazy, he also packs up Geto. This man is truly the definition of Black Air Force energy. This arc had it all. It had emotion, great writing, character work, and gote animation to top it off. Now I'll be honest, it's not the most unique story, and some of the hating motherfuckers will point to other anime that do similar shit. However, being somewhat generic or formulaic isn't always a bad thing. If you can hone a formula and execute it well, then it can still be good. Also, this is so early on in the Jujutsu Kaisen story that even if the foundations of the story can be a little formulaic, they can expand on it and branch out as more seasons and chapters come out. Who knows, by the time the story is done, it could very well be unique. Before watching season 2, I decided to finally watch the JJK movie. This was mainly because I found out that the movie was canon and certain characters would be returning. Now I'll be honest, I didn't really love the movie and I wish I watched it after watching the first 5 episodes of season 2. Sure, it would have spoiled Yuta and Miguel's return, but I think it would have been worth it. All the Gojo and Geto scenes would have hit so much harder if I had seen the hidden inventory arc first. Don't get me wrong, they were still enjoyable, but it felt very generic at the time. None of the deeper nuances had been established yet. Similar to season 1, the movie is also retroactively better after watching season 2 due to all the new context. I'm sure rewatching season 1 and the movie now, with all we know, is a much better experience. Moving on to the actual plot. This movie is focused on Yuta and the curse that follows him. The curse is a manifestation of his grief due to losing his friend in a car accident. He's followed by Rika, his friend turned cursed spirit, who kills anyone who hurts Yuta and is extremely overprotective and aggressive. Honestly, Yuta was the worst part of the movie. He's a very boring character, and I mean very. His relationship with Rika's cursed spirit was and his whole training arc with the school honestly felt forced. Everything outside of Yuta though was fun. Gojo is great as usual, Geto is as menacing as ever, the production value is great with the animation and music always being top notch. This one scene of Gojo has to be the coldest, most funny scene I've seen in a while. Miguel was getting cooked. The movie's worth it for that scene alone. Alright, so this arc started off pretty normal, so I wasn't gonna talk about it until more episodes dropped. But after the last 3 episodes, I had to. First off, Gojo is fucking broken. He killed over 1,000 enemies in under 300 seconds. This is probably one of the best examples of an OP character done right. He's not so powerful to the point that he doesn't have to try like an isekai character, and bringing in the humans to handicap his abilities and make him think was a great way of showing his limitations, rather than relying on power creep or some unearned power up from the villains just so they can match up to Gojo. It's just great writing. So Geto is fucking dead. I was a little baffed at the end of the movie since he died, but it was a prequel and I knew we saw him in season 1 years later. But this makes so much sense. I thought maybe he'd been revived through some cursed technique and stitched back together or something, but man, that twist was fucked. Who is the brain cursed spirit? Shit's getting interesting for real. I think Geto's gonna come back though. That scene where Gojo asks him, leads me to think that he'll eventually regain control of his body. But what then? It's not like Geto wasn't on demon timing himself. You're really just trading one villain for another if you're the Jujutsu sorcerers. It's crazy. And my boy Toji is back. Kinda. As I said with the Suguru thing, Toji came back too. But since his return is due to literal possession, I don't think it will be permanent. I think the possession thing will eventually wear off. He even killed the conduit old lady, so I have a feeling his return is definitely going to be temporary. I hope he gets to see his son all grown up and maybe fights with him or against. I don't know, man. Toji was a menace, so I could see him doing both. We could finally see Megumi learn all about his dad and the shit he was on. Who knows, maybe that will change the relationship he has with Gojo. At this point, I don't think Megumi knows Gojo killed his father, so that could be a huge point of contention between them. Speaking of OGs, bro, I think Nanami might be my favorite character. He's proven why he's one of the most G characters in this whole show. Bro strolled in on a Gon vibe and hit him with that Jan Ken. Who knows who he's gonna fight next? Honestly, I just like watching him on screen, fam. Either way, I can't wait to see what happens. This is some of the best anime out right now. Now, with that being said, I can't mention all the good without some of the controversy. Mappa have been facing some scrutiny recently due to how they've been running things. They made animators sign confidentiality contracts so that they don't express their complaints about the production and the working conditions. It's crazy with even veteran animators who've worked on the show saying stuff like, "I have nothing to lose, so if you're gonna sue me for complaining, I'll take it." That's a quote. The whole situation is wild and it deserves its own video, honestly. If you're curious about the situation, I recommend watching Yeman's video. He went over all the little nuances and explained it way better than me. I just wanted to mention it since I was praising those same animators for their work. It's only right that I bring up their mistreatment. It sucks that we get these goated animators from Japan and then these stories always come out about how the animators themselves or even sometimes the manga creators get shafted. Like I heard that the Demon Slayer mangaka didn't even get paid that much for the movie. It's just an unfortunate part of the business, man. Hopefully that shit starts getting sorted out. Thanks for watching.